Hey guys, May Flom here, and I am working on the cover of a travel notebook. Now, this is just little rings, okay? So that means that this is fully customizable. I can take pages out, I can put pages in, I can add, I can subtract, I can readjust. If I don't like something, I can pull it out. If I want something in, I can add it. I love journals like these, especially for travel planning. Now, I'm going to have future videos and blog posts about travel planning creatively as a crafter, so stay tuned for those. But right now what I'm doing, since I am working on an epic trip here, I needed a good notebook, and I went through my stores of my little shelf where notebooks I couldn't resist. This one is in it, and this particular one, this is a Mead notebook, and I have no idea where I got it. Somewhere between 6 months and 3 years ago, I'm guessing. But it's got graph paper, it's got plain craft paper, and it has lined paper, which I think is really cool. It also, each divider has like a little pocket area to tuck stuff, which I think is cool. Now, all of this kind of stuff we can craft our own, and sometimes we should. And like I said, in future videos, I'll talk about that. We'll go into that kind of stuff, customizing notebooks, creative planning, not in a, this is what I did this week way, but, when I want to gather notes on something in particular, or if I want to keep a journal, whether it's for Girl Scouts, whether it's for planning a trip, whether it's for an event or something I'm in charge of, or it could be my day-to-day life, but I've always been a big fan of notebooks and keeping notes. And so when I get going on a big something where I want to keep a lot of notes together, I like to make it a little bit fun. Okay, so this is how it was, just kind of a fabric cover. These are some Tim Holtz little chipboard pieces. Now, what I did with these, because they're kind of chipboard, they would be kind of susceptible to water. And I'm always cautious about stuff like that when I'm going to be making something that this potentially could come with me on a really big trip, something like that. If it might travel, if it might get exposed to the elements, I try to make sure that whatever I do won't be reactive to water. Okay. So for these, what I did was just put some perfect paper adhesive, my go-to adhesive, on the back and placed it down. Okay, and then once it was dry, and I put some heavy stuff on top, really let them dry, something on top, let it dry completely flat, and that might have been good, but you've got those edges there of raw chipboard, not to mention, if something comes along and scrapes along the edges, I want to make sure that these are like so glued on here, I'm gonna have to get in here with something metal and like chip away to get it back off. So I came back in with PPA, perfect paper adhesive, and just drew a little line of it along each edge. So you would repeat this on each edge, and I just made sure that the entire surface of the edge of chipboard was covered. And then if there was a little extra with a paintbrush or with your finger, I just kind of blended it out just to kind of make an edging all the way around each side, and also on top. I made sure that there was a coating on top and along the cracks there. Let it dry overnight. And now you can see, you're really not going to see that I did that. It's really not going to be visible. There's a very slight, in a few places, very slight darkening of fabric where PPA is and where it ends, I should say. It's really not going to be significant for you. So that's how I got started. You could do that. These were the new Tim Holtz chipboard pieces. You could do it with those. You could do this with anything. You could use alphabet stickers and just coat them. I've done that many a times. Put liquid adhesive down, put the alphabet stickers, then put those on top. You could use other stickers. You could use chipboard. You could use die cuts, whatever you've got, whatever you want to use. There's not rules on this. And guys, this could be an art journal, okay? This could be an art journal. This could be a lot of different things that I'm using here. What I'm going to do next, I'm using matte gel. Why matte versus glossy? Well, glossy on something like this, does this look like a glossy kind of a thing? No, it's more of a matte finish kind of a thing. So I'm putting some matte gel, and yes, you could use paste, you could use all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm putting some of this down onto my stencil, and I'm just holding my stencil in place. I am aware here that like over in this area, it's going to be raising up a little bit due to my chipboard there. I'm not going to worry about that. And you might also notice I didn't worry about getting it just perfect. Okay, so I'm going to lift that up. And this is what I love. The matte, because we're working on, it's already a matte finish surface that we're working on. Everything is already, you know, well, matte. So I've got choices here. I can, in this example, I'm just kind of taking and moving the matte medium around to suit my whims. And I'm using a paper towel here to wipe my little brush off. Okay, now if there's areas, like here and right here's another one, where the medium really shouldn't have gone down, there really should have been a divide, by using my little brush in here, I can just clean it up, okay? You don't need to worry about this being perfect, guys. You really, really don't. But if there's things you want to clean up, if there's things you want to alter, this would be the time to do it while it's wet, while things are going on here. The other thing you can do, and something I like to do, is towards the edges, I don't like a hard edge, especially on a project like this. So when I get out here towards the edges, I'm just kind of flattening out any spots that I'm doing. Okay, like so. So that it's not thick at the edges and so that there's no hard lines at the edges. Because this is going to be kind of a worn looking travel journal book. This is not going to look crisp and new. If you want it to look crisp and new, by all means, go ahead. But this particular look, this book that I'm doing here, it's not supposed to be. So I'm not going to even bother trying to make it something that it's not supposed to be. And then I'm just double checking, you know, on top here, I don't want any, it's okay if there's some matte medium on top, that's not going to hurt anybody, but I don't want any heavy stuff. And I don't like how that looked over on the side, so I'm just kind of removing that. And I'm going to repeat this up at the top. Now I'm not going to clean my stencil or worry about that. And the reason I'm not going to worry about cleaning my stencil is because it is going to be kind of a messy, because of the raised area, because there's that raised spot up here and all of that. It's not going to be a perfect little circle. So because I already know that going in, I'm just not going to worry about this at all. I'm going to go ahead and scrape that over once again. Okay, and I am letting it go over and overlap here just because for design elements, I want to kind of combine things. I don't want there to be like a hard edge. And I'm pushing down here because then I can kind of get in the stencil a little bit more. And I'll lift up. Now on the very edge, if you've got excess, just scoop it up, get it back in. You'll need to, and I do mean need, clean up that stencil. Okay. And then you can just do the same thing here. Now, if you used glossy, and I'm just kind of scooping up a little more. If you use glossy when it dried, it would be, well, glossy, guys. There's not really another way to put that. But because I'm doing the matte finish, when it dries, it'll show up as texture, but it's not going to be real wow and shiny. The other difference, matte versus glossy, and this one I did a better job, so I don't need to do very much blending out. Things are kind of already blended. So we let this dry probably overnight because of how thick the gel medium is in some places. Now, if it was glossy, it would do resist, which means that if I then sprayed with color, it would resist the color. Because it's the matte finish, it's really not going to do that. There's like little fuzzies in here. So strange. So I'm trying to pick those out. So because I didn't go that route, it's not going to be, it's not going to resist color. Color medium should work on there. Because I intend on using just some acrylic paint, because again, water resistant, I don't want something that's going to react to water on this cover. I really shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. So once this is dried, and like I said, probably, I usually do overnight because I'm happen to be taping this in the morning. This will be to be continued tomorrow morning. Just over a day later, and here is what I've got. You might notice down below, it's gotten colorful. I did this because I wanted to see if my idea for adding acrylic paint was going to work before I turned on the video camera. So I'm going to show you what I did up here on this side. So as you can see up here, you can't really see that gel medium. It's matte finish. You can see it if you turn it in the right light a little bit, but not really. Down here you can see it because of the paint, and it did resist a little bit. Only a little bit, because see what I really did here, and I just took some acrylic paint and dabbed it on like so. Alright, and I'm using a Liquitex Heavy Body. You could use whatever paint you've got. I'm adding some water because I don't have this kind of aqua, this is called bright aqua green. I didn't have that color, that specific color in a thinner medium that I wanted to use. And I wanted to use acrylic paint because, like I talked about before, I don't want this to be a project where it becomes a problem, you know, should water get on it or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to put it on here like so. I'm going to add some more water. Don't worry about the water. The water's not going to hurt anything. And then I'm going to take, and I'm using a paper towel. You could use a paintbrush if you wanted to. I just find the paper towel to be more useful for this style because I do want to scrub some of it off. Like so. And I want to come back through. I just keep moving the paper towel and removing some excess, and repeat, repeat, repeat until you are happy with the results. Easy, right? There's only one step left. This kind of a notebook, it doesn't have to be difficult. My last step is back to PPA, and I have here one of my 28 Lilac Lane kits. This one happens to be kind of a travel-ish themed one, and it's got a little camera in here, which I'm actually not going to use. What I am going to use is some of the little buttons and little doodads, and just kind of make a few little clusters. What I'm going to do is just use my glue like I do, and it's okay that the acrylic paint is still wet. I'm not at all concerned about that. Once it's dry, it's going to dry really quickly, but also once it is dry, it's not water reactive, so I'm not worried about it blending with my adhesive or anything like that. Working large to small, just go like so. Now you're welcome to put as much or as little as you want. Me, I'm not going to put a ton. I will take a little bit of this Heidi Swapp Gold Mist. Haven't had problems with it in the past, so hopefully won't have any problems with it here. You're just tapping on just a few little speckles. Again, I'm not going to do a whole lot. And once I am happy with it, I'm done. Now I think I don't want to put, oh, actually, I think I'm going to put a little tiny button cluster right here. I like to do a cluster of three different clusters if I can. I think I'll do one little one right there, and I'll extend this one just a little bit. And up here, I'll put a little something up here. There's no rush, remember. It takes a long time for this PPA to dry, and that's really in our favor because it means a couple things. If you got a little pick or something that you'd like to work with to move the small things around, by all means go ahead and be precise if you're in the mood. But anyway, it's in our favor because it means we can kind of play around with stuff. You've got time to adjust things, and these buttons really, they shouldn't go anywhere once you've got them in place. I just love this color palette. And it's funny because when I was making this journal, or started this, I didn't have this color palette in mind. It just kind of worked out that way, which tells me that I was on the right track when I started developing this one like 6-9 months ago, whatever that was. So gotta love it when that works out. Just putting a few little bits and pieces here and there, little things. And then you might notice I'm kind of working big to small or medium to small, depending on, medium to tiny perhaps is more accurate. And I'm just kind of working things in here and there as I like. If there's something I want to be a certain way, I get in here with the little pick or with the tweezers and make it so. And just repeat, repeat, repeat until happy. So that's it from me for today. I will share more thoughts on decorating. You know, this could be an art journal. This could be, in my case, this is going to be a notebook for travel thoughts and tips and notes and things I don't want to forget, things I want to have make my vacations better. And I'll share some thoughts on all of that kind of stuff over on my blog, a link below if you're here on YouTube watching. If you have any questions, thoughts, things you'd like to see, questions to be answered, anything at all, feel free to leave me a comment. Otherwise, I will see you next time.